My friend of 4 years just ended our friendship over a man. I'm gonna tell you the story. So the way it works out is her birthday, their anniversary, Christmas, my birthday, New Year's. So right around this time of the year, we're chatting a whole bunch. Girl, what you doing? Girl, what you doing? Da, 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 da. Y'all, so this year, no different. Hit her up. Let me set this up because I need my hands so I'll tell you a story. This is literally what I said. Where did y'all go for y'all anniversary? And she goes, oh, we just went out to dinner. He got me flowers and some jewelry. And I was like, and she was like, don't start. No, I'm going to start. And we all need to start starting with our friends who are accepting like low effort shit from the men that they're with. Now, let me preface this by saying he's a man of means, okay? I sold this man his third property when I was in real estate. I've seen his place. This man makes well into the mid to high six figures, okay? And you are the type of person that likes to travel because we bonded over that. We've traveled and taken trips together before. It's just so minimal to me what he does for her every time. A birthday, flower, dinners, a gift. Anniversary, flowers, dinners, gift. Like, it's the same shit over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, girl, you deserve better. There's over 70 luxury resorts in the United States alone. Even if he just took you to one a year, it would take y'all a lifetime. Literally. You should not just be at home all the time when y'all doing big celebrations like this. Like, I feel like you're just accepting, yo. And this is what pisses me off so much about it, is that whenever she's talking about him and stuff that he does, it's always spectacular. But when she talks about stuff that he does for her, like, yes, it's nice, but it's not spectacular in comparison to what he does for himself. I'm like, girl, this man does not like you. He's with you. You're integrated into his life. Yeah, he may say he loves you, but he does not like you. Okay, for his birthday, this video getting a little long, so I'm gonna do part 2.
One of the comments says, well, let's read the guy first. I said this respectfully. I understand why some women stop talking to their friends when they get married. A woman says, you gotta get you some business. Another woman says, plot twist. He did way more for her, but she just didn't tell you because she has found you to be a monitoring spirit. I'm just saying. Just saying. You know, modern women, they're not going to be happy for you, man. You know, there's this saying, single women keep women single. I mean, why y'all make videos like this? Delete this.
Y'all, I really think I just watched one of my colleagues have an epiphany about what pretty privilege is in real time. So I had to come to Chicago for work, and I am the only woman from my company who is here, and I am everyone's junior by like 10, maybe 15 years minimum, maximum probably a good 3 decades. So one of my colleagues is staying at the same hotel as me, and after I checked in, went up to my room, dropped my bags, I went down to the bar, and as I'm talking to the bartender, I hear somebody call out my name, and I see down at the end of the bar, he's sitting there. It's like, oh, okay, cool, you're down here watching the football game? Bet. So I'll go sit down by him. Mind you, again, I had just checked in probably 15 minutes ago. He tells me that he checked in about 45 minutes ago. So when I checked in, the guy at the receptionist desk, he was like, oh, you know, we've upgraded you to our largest floor plan. It's on the 16th floor, et cetera, et cetera. I really didn't think anything of it because, you know, it's sort of late at night. Sometimes that happens when it comes to random upgrades, is that they check you in because they have the room available. So why not? He also proceeds to give me these drink vouchers. Apparently, every single day you get 2 drinks. So he gives me 2 of them, and then he goes, oh, and I'm going to give you a third because we no longer put free water in the room. So you can use this third to get water from the bar. They'll give you 2 large glass bottles of Evian. I'm like, great. All of this checks out to me. I really think nothing of it. So as I'm sitting at the bar with my colleague, we, you know, are watching a football game, have a couple drinks, whatever. It's time to leave. And so when I give the bartender my voucher, I give him two, one for my 2 glasses of wine that I had and the other to get my 2 glasses of water. And he goes, oh, they gave you 2 vouchers. And I'm like, yeah, they gave me 3. One was for the extra water. The other was for each of the nights that we're here. He's like, oh, they only gave me 1. So in that moment, I'm like, still not really thinking too much of it, but hey, like, some people just have favor. He gave me 3. He gave you 1. I was like, oh, that's a big difference. I'm thinking, we're all getting 1 extra, but no, he's like, I only got 1. Got it. He's like, I wonder why. So then we go to the elevator and I press the number to go to my room and he's like, oh, they have you on a high floor. I'm on floor 2. And so at this point, I'm kind of putting the pieces together. I'm like, he checked in 45 minutes before me. Clearly, the receptionist was feeling very friendly at the time of my checking in. But he was like, do you have status? And I'm like, yeah, I actually just got status because we've been traveling a lot. So I have like one of the lower tier statuses. This man is, of course, he's a man in his, I would say like 50s. Actually, no, today he told me he was of retirement age. So in his 60s, he's like, I have lifetime platinum, such and such status, whatever. They didn't upgrade him at all. So he's like, that's really weird. Why do you think it is that you got an upgrade? I'm like, I don't know. And at this point, I really don't want to blow up the spot. So I don't say anything about the kind of room or anything. He's just like assuming that I just have a higher floor. He's like, that's really interesting. So do y'all know that today, when we get in the office this morning, he comes to me, he's like, yeah, I spoke to the receptionist this morning and I asked about getting an upgrade and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have any upgrades available, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, so I'm just really wondering why it is that you were able to get all of these upgrades. And he's like, do you think that it's because you're a woman? Sir. I'm just like, I really don't know. And he's like, oh, that's really interesting. I guess I should have batted my eyelashes a little bit harder. Okay, babe. Sure.
So if he's in his 50s, I used to work at a consulting firm in his 50s. And I say that because, a lot of times consultants travel a lot. So if I'm traveling a lot, then I've got points on that plane, right? I can go into different lounges. I can get upgrades. That's what's supposed to come with my status. So why is it that you're getting more than me? What's going on with that? If I'm a lifetime member, if I'm giving you money, my status says that I should have access to this. So if you're giving somebody else the access, I should have it too. Because you said, because of my status, I should have it. This is why men have a lot more than women a lot. This is where the saying, closed mouths don't get fed comes from. Because if he would have just said, oh, okay, well, I guess that is what it is. But he's deciding, hey, let me go ask and see what's up. Now, if they would have said, we don't have any upgrades, but, maybe we can pencil you in for X, Y, and Z when it comes available. Or, in order to help you for your trouble, we can give you this. Then he would have gotten maybe something because of his status. But statistically speaking, I think this is why men, they get more promotions, is because they inquire, they ask questions. Whereas you have a lot of women out there that would have left this alone.
I'm scanning a patient and she's newly pregnant. So I see that her ovaries are very plump with follicles. So if you know what I mean, it looks kind of like as if she took medicine to ovulate. Now she's a new patient. We don't know anything about her. So I am trying to get my clues. So I ask her, by any chance, did you take any medicine to ovulate? No, this happened on our own. We were barely trying. And I said, oh my God, how exciting. Her partner over here, word for word and the same tone. Okay, yeah, how exciting. The reason why I know that this was not fake or a joke is because her face turned like literally red. So I said to her, well, I am so happy for you. For you, literally emphasize the you even more than I'm doing now.
Now, her read in the situation is the woman didn't deserve that. It's the woman going through stuff. Somebody in the comments, a woman said she trapped him. Another one said, yeah, I was more read on it too from the way it was told. Another person says, I had to ask so I know how to be safe. But how would a woman trap a man? Another woman responds and says, not taking birth control, poking holes in the condom, taking fertility medication. Yeah. And she comes back and says, I don't know, I can't wrap my head around this because it's my duty to protect my seed, and I do. The woman says, I get that, and I'm glad you do. Also, women can lie and say they're sterile or infertile. Exactly. Exactly. But it's going to be the man's fault every time. It's going to be the man's fault. She's not even going to ask, as a health professional, this shouldn't even be on the line. But it shows you just how much modern women don't care nothing about laws.
You know nowadays how there's like a group of guys out there that will call you a simp if you spend any money on a girl? What the fuck do you do when you're with a girl? Nah, I really would love to know. If you go out with a girl you just met, she pays? If you got a girlfriend, she pays? If you got a wife, no matter which way I could fucking word it, she pays? How does that work exactly? You're not embarrassed? I'd be fucking embarrassed if a woman went into her purse to grab money when she was around me. That shit, what are you talking about? How could you be a simp? Because what else is supposed to occur? Okay, I'm a simp, I pay. So how does the money get out? Who's paying? Where's the money coming from? Is it free? I don't think so. You fucking dorks.
The issue is your reciprocity, right? Number two, there's some people out there that say the man should pay at all costs, and he should be prepared to pay at every turn. But where is this reciprocity? Where do I see the benefit from the relationship? Where do you show me that you actually appreciate it? And then you guys don't get that, right? So if you're one of the ones saying, oh yeah, you should pay for dinner. Okay, I do pay for dinner. You should pay all the bills. I do pay all the bills. Yeah, you should be able to take it all. You don't think that you're saving a little bit? That you're putting her life over yours? And we're not talking about, oh, you need to do it first. We're talking about, okay, I'm taking care of you. I'm showing you that I'm trustworthy and I'm going to take care of you. So I'm looking for that same energy back. What are you going to show that to? If you continue down that line, oh, I don't care what she gives me, I'm going to continue doing this without receiving anything back. You're probably a simp. You're probably a simp. If her needs are far above yours, and that's the only thing that you look for, is to take care of her for this woman that stated to you, I'm not going to take care of you. If you things that you give me, but I'm not returning the favor, that would be a sin.
Just saw this video that Jay Shetty posted about, he was like reporting how typically men after a woman gives birth like don't feel like a priority, and that's when they're most likely to cheat. And what blows my mind about this is men are so fragile, because imagine watching your partner sacrifice her entire body for 9+ months of growing this human, your child. She's going through food aversion, she's nauseous, she is going through the hormonal fluctuations, she's literally stretching from the inside out. And then you watch her go through labor, which is like the ultra marathon of ultra marathons, you know? And then you watch her give birth to your child. Not only that, but you also watch her give birth to a organ that she created from scratch. Then if she's breastfeeding, you watch her basically fuel your child from her body. So you're observing all of this happening, right? Like, she's basically the sole responsibility of giving life to your child. And you're gonna say, I'm not a priority. Therefore, let me go find somebody who will make me a priority. That is the most fragile, weak thing I have ever heard in my life.
So let me break it down for you, because a lot of modern women are very shallow in the way that they think. A lot of modern women see pregnancy as their defining moment in life, one of their defining moments. So I got pregnant. That's all I have to do. I was pregnant. I don't have to do anything else. I've got pregnant. I've got a baby. I shouldn't have to work forever. For the next 30 years, I don't need to work because I got pregnant. I had a child. right? No, never mind. This man's been working more hours now that he's got a family to provide, to protect, and do all this. And you decide, I don't want to do anything else. Let's say you take a full 10 years off, take care of the child, send the child to school, and I just sit at home for another 5 years doing nothing. Let's say you take 15 years. That entire time the man has been working. And statistically speaking, he's now working more hours and he's doing more. He's putting in more work. He works more now. And you're still talking about, I had a child 15 years ago. You see what that sounds like? And then when the man says, I just don't feel like you make me that much of a priority. Well, I'm pregnant and this and that. Yeah, but that was like 15 years ago. That was like 15 years. And for 5 years, I just kind of sat around and did nothing. 10 years. It was me supporting you and the baby as I made the promise. But I've never had you take time out of taking care of the child. I've tried to get babysitters. I've tried to leave the child with my parents, with aunts, uncles, so that you and I can spend some time alone together so that we can make each other a priority. But it doesn't seem like that's something that you're interested in, right? Even after the child, you're not going to be breastfeeding all day, are you? Yeah, you carry the child for 9 months, but the man has been right there beside you doing things for you to make sure that you have the best experience possible, right? So he's giving of himself. He's sacrificing just like you are. And a lot of times you guys use pregnancy as a trump card when you don't want a man saying, well, I make the money, so I get to do whatever I want. You don't want him using that as a trump card. So why do you use pregnancy? A lot of times y'all are using children to shield you from laziness and responsibility and accountability. Well, I had a child. I'm a recovering mother. Let's say somebody broke their leg and they had to recover. It's going to be about the same time. It's going to take them. Sometimes it takes women years to recover. I'm thinking about somebody right now. Messed up her ACL. Has taken her, about a year. Just as we start doing tests to see if she needs surgery because her foot will not heal right. And she has a child. So this whole thing about, well, I got to cover this, and that. Y'all got to stop using this as an excuse, man. At some time, you got to prioritize your husband. This is something that y'all decided to do together. He's working on his end. He has to stop doing what he wants to do to prioritize you as your child. You got to do what you got to do to prioritize him. And you got to put the child before him. Remember, there was a man online, that talked about it goes your wife, I think the kids, and your mother. Right? When people were asking men, who goes first? His wife, my kids, or your mother? And they were upset when man said, so my mama. Oh, well, they're going to marry your mama. But now we have it to where the man says, I don't feel like I'm a priority. Oh, well, I just did this. So it's first. So the stipulations have changed. Requirements have been a little bit, they've been released a little bit, huh?
Things my husband does that's going to send all the men in my comments into a coma. We've been together for 9 years now, and he writes me a post-it note every day because he loves me. We have separate accounts, but when we got engaged, he gave me a credit card linked to his bank account. I'm the beneficiary on his bank account, and then my bank account is just mine. He proposed to me after 5 months, and he sold his BMW so that he could buy me a new car, and then he drove my old car. He drove that for a few years until he sold it and the new car that he bought me so that he could buy me my dream car after I gave birth to our son. No, I never asked. He never asked if he should. He simply just did it. I just turned 32. I don't look it because he doesn't stress me out, and he took me to New York for a week where he spoiled me. You can go look. It's pinned. I wasn't sure if I wanted to take his last name when we got married, so our compromise was that he put my maiden name in his middle name. You can accuse me of seeing my husband as an ATM, but what I love about him is his work ethic, and that's why he makes so much money. My husband is the type of man who went after a job that took a pay cut because he wanted to do more challenging work. He wanted to be even more challenged at work, and I supported that. Because I'm not who you think I am, and you don't hate me. You hate yourself.
Well, I think the difference here is that the man took a pay cut to be challenged. A lot of modern women would have seen that. You know, this is the problem with a lot of the storytelling coming from a lot of the ladies. They're not telling the full context of what's actually going on. They're framing it as, this is all of the stuff that he does for me, and I don't do anything. So don't do anything for your man. That's the moral of the story. A lot of these ladies, especially the ones listening to Shira 7, would have never said what you said. Take a pay cut? What? Are you a loser? You need to do that on your own time. Your first responsibility is to me and making money for me. You need to keep that job and be unhappy. That's what they would have told that man.
I stopped doing my boyfriend's share of housework, and now he's saying I'm punishing him. I'm Paige, 27 female, and I've been living with my boyfriend, Dylan, 28 male, for a year now. Maybe a little over a year. We moved in together pretty quickly, honestly, but it seemed fine at the time. So here's the problem. I do like 90% of the housework, and we both work full time. I'm a physical therapy assistant, so I'm on my feet all day, and I'm exhausted when I get home. Dylan works in IT, and he works from home most days. I'm doing all the dishes, all of the laundry, most of the cooking, cleaning the bathroom, vacuuming, all of it. When I ask Dylan to help, he says, "Oh, yeah, I'll do it later," and then just doesn't do it. Or he says, "I don't see the mess the same way you do," which I think is code for I don't care if the apartment is dirty. I tried to talk to him about it so many times. I've made chore charts. I've asked him to just pick a few things to be responsible for. Nothing works. So like 2 weeks ago, I just stopped. I stopped doing his laundry. I stopped cooking for the both of us. I just make food for myself now. And I stopped doing his dishes. I still clean the common areas because I live here too. But anything that's specifically his, not my problem anymore. Dylan ran out of clean clothes after like 5 days, and he got mad at me for not telling him he needed to do the laundry. I said, "You're 28 years old. You know when you need clean clothes." Then he got upset that I made dinner and I didn't make enough for him. I said, "I'm not your mom. You can make your own food." Now he's saying I'm punishing him and being petty instead of communicating, which made me so mad because I have been communicating for a year. I've asked nicely. I've made lists. I've tried splitting things evenly. Nothing has worked. He says if it really bothered me that much, I should have communicated better and that he didn't realize it was that serious. How do you not realize it's serious when someone has been asking you for help with the housework for 12 months? Oh, and here's the best part. His mom texted me saying I'm being immature and that Dylan told her I'm refusing to take care of the home. I don't even respond to her because what the fuck? My best friend says I should just break up with him because if he wanted to help, he would. And like, she's probably right, but we've been together for 3 years total and everything else is mostly fine. Dylan says if I would just go back to normal, we can just work on the chore thing together, but I don't trust that he'll actually change. Am I being petty, or is this literally the only way to get him to understand?
If you've been doing that for a year, don't you think it's time? I mean, your lease is probably almost up. Don't you think it's time that you move out and get your own place? You're going to be upset with him. I mean, you're already upset with him because you're on Reddit talking about, am I the butthole? This would be the time where you exit the situation. But for some reason, you're asking, is it your problem? Stop paying bills for the guy. Get up out of there. This is what made me... Any good man, any well-adjusted man will tell you, yeah, man, this guy's a bum. Get up out of there. Just leave, dude. Like I said, you've been doing that for about a year. Y'all moved in together. You've been doing that for about a year. I don't know how long your lease is. Can't imagine much more than that. When it ends, say, okay, I'm going to dip out. Are you staying here or am I staying here? I need to know within about a week. because, I don't want to, oh, well, I'm still making a decision on it. Well, it actually doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's staying where. I'm leaving. I'm going to get my own apartment. That's it. That's the end of it.
I bring absolutely nothing to a man's life. I bring nothing to the table. I was married for 22 years. I left it all there. I will not cook for you any night of your life. You have kids? Great. Can we pretend like it's flowers in the attic? I don't want to see them or hear them. Got a mom? I don't want to meet her. I'm not doing your laundry. I'm not cleaning up. I'm definitely not digging you out of debt. I'm not cheering you on in life. You're an adult. Cheer for yourself. I did all that and more for decades. I have nothing left to give. Quite honestly, I probably shouldn't have given it at all to begin with, because look where it got me. Divorced. At this stage in the game, post-divorce, adult children, no man wants me. I'm nothing more than just a warm body. That's it. Just over there in the corner, a warm body. I don't ask for anything, and I give even less than I ask for. So really, what's the point? We can just look at each other, take up space in the same house. The only real benefit I see is sort of like a in-person life alert. If I see you go down, I'll call 911.
Am I the asshole for calling my girlfriend a misandrist / man-hater? I am a 27-year-old man. I have been with my girlfriend, who's 24, for a few years now. Okay. Once again, we need some math here. I've noticed some concerning behavior of hers, such as she hates being hit on or flirted with. She immediately declines with a very monotone voice. I noticed this mostly before we started dating, as we didn't have the same friend group but had mutual friends. She avoids men in any scenario. I invited her on a cabin trip with my family. However, it ended up being only the men that would be going, as other wives, girlfriends, daughters could not get time away from their duties. She was excited before, but as soon as I mentioned it would be only guys, she immediately changed her mind and called the airline to refund her ticket. If all of my friends come over for a boys' night, she doesn't offer to make snacks for us or anything and just leaves before they get here and won't come home until they're gone. She isn't really rude about it, I guess, but in 3+ years of dating, she has never...
No snacks! No snacks! No snacks for the boys! No snacks for the boys!
I love it's like she didn't make us snacks, and we cannot make them. Guys, she didn't make the bagel bites. What are we gonna do? They've never worked a microwave in their life. She isn't really rude about it, I guess, but in 3+ years of dating, she has never spent more than 5 to 10 minutes around them, and never tries to have a conversation besides basic politeness and acknowledging their presence. When I asked, she just looked at me and said, "Do you want me to be super friendly with your friends, half of who have asked me out before?" Which made me think more, but I feel this is still weird. She requests women for everything and goes out of her way to use female doctors, female plumbers, female mechanics. If it's through renter's insurance, for example, she doesn't make a special request, but if it's an elective service, she immediately tries to find a female service provider. I don't think she's physically attracted to men. Our sex life is fine, and she is very affectionate with me. If I ask her if a celebrity is hot or whatever, she just says she doesn't see them like that, or that in her brain, all other men are Ken dolls with no sexual organs. She refuses to have male friends, and if she has a male acquaintance, she blocks, ignores them if they ever make a romantic move on her. From what I know, typically women keep guys like that around, so why she doesn't is beyond me. For example, she had a close male friend for a very long time. However, a few months into us being together, he made a romantic move towards her. For some reason, she was offended and even hurt and was depressed for a while, as he was her only friend left from her childhood. We had a pregnancy scare last month, and she didn't really update or inform me on things. If I hadn't walked in on her crying and holding it, I don't think she would have ever told me. It ended up being false. I called her a misandrist while asking for an explanation for her behavior, and she called me an asshole. I explained why I had my beliefs, and she just kicked me out of her office and said she doesn't have time for this. Am I the asshole?
Yes, dude. You about to mess up. You about to mess up a good thing. The woman doesn't want any male attention. She cuts the guys off immediately. She goes out of her way to find women providers because she don't want no man touching her. Bro, her childhood friend, the only one that she had left, tried to make a move on her. and she blocked him. She was crying because she really wanted them to remain friends. But now I got to send you back out to the streets, my friend. I've got a man. Honestly, if you keep this up, she might be out there with him. Hey, actually, I made a mistake. Let me go get drinks with you next week. How does Friday sound? And you gonna be upset. But brother, it's gonna be your fault.
I will not argue with a bitch built like a Frenchie. We gotta bring back ignoring folks. People hate a person with self-worth and boundaries. I don't know what's wrong. Speaking from personal experience, whenever I give a woman my boundaries or have a little bit of self-worth, oh my God, I'm gay, I'm stupid, I'm an asshole, I'm a narcissist, I'm everything but me. Fuck. For example, I spoke to a woman. She was very rude, very disrespectful. I told her about herself. I told her that I no longer wanted to contact her. I don't want to have a conversation. I don't want to keep talking, blah, blah, blah. She told me, wow, you never gave a fuck about me. You didn't even give me no chances. How many chances is a person supposed to allow you to disrespect them before stopping the conversation? Like, I don't get that. It's almost as if women, and I'm only speaking from a man's perspective because I'm a man. I feel like women expect a man to take hella disrespect and just let the shit slide. Like, I have emotions too, buddy. And it's really strict over here. I cut somebody off for anything. For example, I was talking to a girl. I asked her how old she was because I was getting to know her. She's a fucking stranger. I asked her how old she was. She responded, LOL, how old are you? That pissed me off. If I ask you a question and you respond to my question with a question, bitch, you're done. But she was bad. I gave her a chance, gave her the benefit of the doubt. I told her I was 25 and I asked her, are you ignoring my question? And then she said, LOL, and then responded with another question. Bitch, you're done. Off the server, deleted from the server. Never will be. Like, what are we doing? Mind you, bitch 35 or she's 30 something and she trying to hide her age. And I asked her, are you trying to hide your age? She said, oh, this is how I know you were young because a gentleman never asks a woman her age. Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah, this is just a game at her age. And this is why men don't take women seriously. A lot of these modern women, it's just a game. She's not serious. She's looking to do some weird stuff, maybe get you in the sack real quick and head on down the road. She really didn't want to be rejected because of her age. Basically it was going to be content for her. Ooh, even if she didn't put it online, ooh, I got with a 25-year-old. He was fine and he was this, and this. I still got it. That's what she was going to do. And had she just said her age, she might have gotten what she needed. But she was too busy and too concerned with messing around. And now you got a man telling you off, a 25-year-old man telling you off.
There is no reward for being the bigger person. I just saw this story of this woman whose husband cheated on her mercilessly, moved the young woman into their home, kicked her out, and I have to commend her. She actually decided to get a divorce. However, she decided to pause the divorce once he got cancer so he could continue to be on her health insurance. Now, I'm sure her mindset was, oh, got to be the bigger person. This is the father of my children. I don't want to be heartless and cruel. That man proceeded to not file or apply for financial aid to help his daughter get to college. She wound up having to drop out for a year, and then he proceeded to take several loans out in his daughter's name that destroyed her credit. Why is it that when the universe finally gets its lick back, we always have to intervene? You could call me evil, you can call me heartless, you can call me the devil, but that man would have been left to figure it out on his own, and I would have gone ahead with that divorce. And you heard what happened. He still continued to be a menace. And these men would never do the same thing for you. And I've heard a lot of women over the years say, well, that's the father of my children. Well, you're teaching your children to put up with foolishness. What would I tell my kids if I was well, you know what? Your father did some very awful things to us. And sometimes in life, not all the time, because there are a bunch of bad people living great lives. Sometimes the universe, God, whatever you believe in, says, you know what? Since you've gone around being a menace to society, now I'm going to get my lick back. And there is no prize for being a doormat. There's no prize for being the bigger person. You have to continue to prioritize and take care of yourself. You have to teach your kids to have boundaries and when to put their foot down. That's my whole attitude. And like I said, these men would never do anything to take care of you if the shoe was on the other foot. They would continue going on their lives, shrug their shoulders, and wash their hands of the situation. There is no trophy. There is no prize money. There is no fairy or angel that is going to come from the sky and pat you on the back because you're a good person. Good people get taken advantage of. Because I'll be damned if you cheat on me and put my family in a bad situation, and then I put on a superhero cape and swoop in to save you. And it's this whole idea that is rooted in these Christian ideas of being a submissive wife and serving your husband and being a helper. And men took that and they ran with it because they know they can leverage it over our heads. Once you set yourself free from that, you will be better off because people will continue to push your boundaries. People will continue to take advantage of you. People will continue to use you because they know you're on this hell-bound journey of being the better person.
But you're doing most people that do that's alone. Leave them alone. Don't go back in there. Don't do that. Leave them alone. You probably wouldn't have even got to that point because this first or second story that you told the dude or your friend, you'd have been like, yeah, I hear about you. And that would have been it. It would have been your decision for that because a lot of them don't like cross boundaries. And I mean, for me, personally, this is what I see. And you have told you that. It would have been up to you to hear it. So I mean, I'm sorry that he did that to you and your daughter. He's definitely a loser to that. But most people have told you that. They would have told you to be that. Don't know anybody standing in solidarity with it.
Babe, having a healthy and strong co-parenting relationship with the person that you had kids with, and then allowing a new person to come into your life and impact and ruin that relationship is one of the most insidious things out there. I did get permission to tell this story. So I had a homeboy at the time, and from the time that I met him, he was in a co-parent relationship with the mother of his child. Now, from what he told me, he cheated. One and done type of thing. She didn't accept it. They broke off the relationship. But after they broke up, they both vowed that they would still remain a healthy unit for their son. And that's what they maintained for years and years and years up until it became a problem. Now let's introduce the issue in. He meets a young lady, right? Out and about, meets a young lady. He fancies this young lady. They start hitting it off and things like that. Of course, he tells her, hey, I have a son, this, that, and other. I have a healthy relationship with his mother. All of these things start coming out naturally. But why? Because he has to be forthcoming with the truth and the honesty about the unit that he has with his mother of his child, because it's a big thing in his life. He's active in his child's life. He has a relationship with the child's mother in a healthy way, just so they can co-parent. All of this was laid out up front. And the first red flag that I seen, I called it out in front of her face, in front of him. And the red flag was she had an issue with where he was going to be sitting for his son's swim meet. Now, mind you, for years and years and years, whatever sport, activity, or whatever, they made a pact that they would show up as a unit to support their son. So now here you come saying, well, why do they have to sit? Why do you guys have to sit in the same pew? Why can't we sit 2 or 3 rows back? It's just a little weird to me. Division. As soon as she said it, I butted in and I looked at him. I said, she's out of line. She's out of line. Who is she to come into your life and dictate and change where you sit and how you support your son? You know why you're supporting your son and why you're sitting there. It's because a pact that you made with your son's mother to support your son. Now here she comes saying, well, why can't we sit 3 rows behind? Why can't we sit over here now? Why can't we move? Why do we all have to sit together? Why not? Why do you want to be the reason why there's division? Of course, when I called it out, she was like, oh, well, we can sit in the same pew. It's not that I don't support, supporting the kids. I was just curious. Yeah, all right, bitch. Another big issue was him choosing to be 101% financially responsible for his son, meaning all of the big stuff, school supplies, extracurriculars, all of these things he chose to take over 101%. Why? One, because he could. He could. As a man, this is something that he wanted to do. Like, I don't want the mother of my child to have any type of stress or anything like that if I can take care of it, right? And then two, what I'm doing on top of what she's going to do, because she's a registered nurse as well, she does very well for herself. So on top of what I'm doing and on top of what she's going to do, it's going to better enrich his life. He's going to have an overflow of what he needs and wants. That's what they wanted. That was their game plan as a unit. Oh, well, it's not just your son. You shouldn't be dumping all your money into your son. She should be doing things too, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, you don't know what that woman is doing for her son. And he's already told you she does a lot for him too. But the game plan was, if I do a lot and you do a lot, he has an abundance. That was their game plan. And they've been following it for years. And now here it comes. You have a problem with this man is doing with his money for his son. Now, it's not like he's dumping money into her bank account. It's not like he's just sending thousands and thousands of dollars to his baby mom bank account. No, he's involved in his son's life, so he knows the dues. He knows how much the school costs. He knows how much his son's tuition is because he's involved in his son's life. It's not a matter of dumping money into nobody's account. It's a matter of him knowing when's due and what's due, and he pays it. And I told him, this woman is here to divide you and separate you from your family and the mother of your child and create an issue with her, just so you can be separated from your son and be in a bad situation with your family, so she can have your money. And if you allow it, it's going to happen and you're going to lose everything. And then you're going to lose her because she's going to leave you once you get drained from everything. She's not going to stick by you, and she doesn't like your kid. He doesn't heed my warnings. He's fallen in love with this woman. And then I see the first thing that she did to dismantle the unit, and that was Christmas. I looked online one day randomly. I'm looking online and I'm seeing his son opening gifts and he's nowhere around. Now, you've never, from the time that I've known you, not opened gifts with your son. Never. You've never not watched your son open his Christmas gifts. Now it's separate. Now he's at home unpacking Christmas gifts, separate from with the family. And now who do I see in the back? That woman. When I seen it the next day, I said, bro, I seen what you did on Christmas. I loathe it. I hate it. If I see you do one more thing that goes against your family unit, I'm done with you, bro. I'm done with you. And that's all I said. A couple of weeks, I look on Facebook and the son has a football game. And he's posting a picture from the football game. And just so happened in the corner, I can see the mom is a couple down there and he's up, meaning you're sitting, and I can see a purse in the picture down like by his foot. So you allowed this woman to convince you to go to this boy's game and sit up 3 rows behind from where you've been sitting for years for that woman's comfort. I didn't speak to him for months. Thankfully, after a couple months, he started to see things starting to crumble around him, and he came to his senses. He cleaned up his act. He fixed up the little mess that he was starting to make, and he manned up. And after he cleaned up all of his mess, then we were able to have a face-to-face conversation.
What misunderstanding between him having to sit with his regular sex about being a unit. I don't know if he really did. But just showing up both of you guys are gay or whatever it is. I don't know that. I think we're all is when she's trying to control everything. And she's like, well, why do you gotta do this? Why do you gotta be there? Why do you gotta do this? I think this is such a attempt at establishing boundaries, which, once again, I understand, but you need to come in asking questions. But I will say, this is kind of it. It sounds like she feels threatened. She feels threatened by his closeness to his baby mother, right? And I think a lot of men feel the same way about dating a single mom. A lot of times people call it insecurity, but the man is like, I'm not necessarily insecure. I just want to make sure that my resources aren't being wasted, right? So if I come to the game with you and you go up there and sit with her, how do you think that makes me feel? I mean, her offer was pretty fair in terms of, well, how come we just can't sit like a roll back or maybe a pew back to where he can see both of us? I think actually that's a reasonable request. We don't have to be lovey-dovey and all that stuff, but he knows that that's important and we're here for him. Even if we're going in a different direction. We don't have to make it, oh, I'm better than her or he's better than me. But I do think at some point in time you need to address, the close line. And I understand you're doing it for the right reasons and your heart is in the right places. But the closeness needs to go away. I think she's right on that. I just don't think she's talking about it. Maybe she's trying to force the situation a little bit. But I do see some instances where she's kept out.
You just said that a huge amount of men between the age of 15 and 50 will not pass on their genes. They will effectively die out of the gene mating pool. So people will hear that and many people will go, well, that's evolution.
Yeah.
But I want to understand if there's a counterpoint to that. Should society intervene? Why is, in the short term, we're going to have a lot of men who are disillusioned, that become incels, find themselves in pockets of the internet, are resentful, all those kinds of things. But should society intervene to course correct that? Should we put systems in place to make sure that those men meet partners?
I'm gonna answer that question with a question.
Okay.
If, let's say, a huge swath of people are dying out from cancer, should we intervene with that?
Yes.
If a huge swath of people are dying out from, like, a virus, should we intervene
100%.
with that?
Yes.
If a huge swath of people are dying out from genocide, should we intervene with that?
Yes.
So I think there are two important things. One
it's
is
slightly
that,
different though, isn't it?
It
Because
is.
It's whether you.
So one is about death.
Yeah.
Right? So one is like, if a human being is dying, we should step in. But natural selection isn't necessarily about death.
I think the point that he's trying to make is you guys are not seeing these being viable as being able to pass off genes because they're not 6 foot or they're rich, so they must not be viable. When honestly and truly, you can get an even athlete from a dude that's 5'6", a couple less, 5'6" and 5'4". You might trace his lineage or his ancestry back to a great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather that was 6 foot. You back and look at the pictures, you say, wow, that looks like great-granddaddy. Yeah, wow, it really is 6th generation. So it's anything how genes work and how biology works to put out stuff that you never even thought of. In your human brain, you think, well, this is the natural process. Like, this is, looking at him, he's physically the strongest. He should be the one to lead, right? When it depends on who can prove himself, who can work the hardest, who can adapt. That's what it depends on, right? And you've already seen that a lot of modern women, they don't know how to choose, right? So they're picking all of these guys. And then their genes are going to eventually die out because they take superficial, which is what a lot of women do. So what we're asking now is, should we save some of these women in society from themselves? Because we can talk about picking the better genes and all that stuff, the better persons in natural selection, but it's not really natural selection. If it were natural selection and the best would survive, then it wouldn't matter if a woman married a man that was 5'6" or 6'5", and the man would be able to actually, I think, evolutionary speaking, evolutionary terms, natural selection, there would be a short man that win. Because it's okay, well, you got this, I got this advantage, and I'm going to show you. And the best man will go over and out. But what I'm doing is that I'm going to play with the evil things a little bit. And I'm going to say, okay, this was going to be better in the long run. And I'm going to pick that person only to find out he's a bum and he left me with a job. So, you're going to raise a bum. Well, technically, you can raise him to be a good person, one person in society. I'm just saying not necessarily natural selection, right? It's not necessarily worship genes that will be left behind. You're going to get a vast majority of these modern women that are picked on, have a history of some picked on, and then the results that they weren't looking for because they're so switch for